Okay, Mike Masato, CEO of Staff Driven Dental and the Dental Road War, returning for episode 86 in the series. So today the topic is, you may find interesting, when you saw it listed there, like what am I talking about? And I decided to call it Weeding Out the Criminal Element in Your Practice. Now, you might be saying, what is it all about? I don't have any criminals working for me. Don't be so sure. And more I'm finding out as we do like a discovery process with the clients. We often find out, like, where's the money going? What's happening with the money? Where are we losing money? Where's money bleeding out of this practice? And a lot of times you're bleeding out money is because you got a parasite in the mix. These people are very dangerous because they're not overt. It's obvious if someone will walk into your practice tomorrow with a gun and pointed it at you and say, give me your money, it would be kind of overt, and we eventually would track this person down and he would be arrested, and so be it. That'll be there and done. I hope, and that'd be the end of it. The dangerous thing about having a criminal element in your practice is these people are very covert. They're very good, these criminals, at hiding out and under the guise of like, hey, I got your back. Rather than having something in your back is what they're really doing. I got your back, and they seem to be all good on the outside, and they may have some good qualities and be good at what they do. But meanwhile, they are costing you tens of thousands of dollars by their presence in the practice. And a lot of us are not up on our accounting, and our bookkeeping and looking at things the way we should be. And unfortunately, they're not knowing. It can go on for a long time, and we're not even aware of what's happening until suddenly we stumble on this sometime in the future. Whether it's through we get lucky with accounting or bookkeeping, or you happen to catch something or whatever, and by that time it's too late. Because once you get a hold of these people, a lot of times I find out, my clients are like, oh, just they don't want any issues. They want to just fire them, get rid of them, move on. And they don't want to deal with the legal follow-up on everything else, and we just have to suck it up and take the loss, and we let the criminal go away. If it's a larger instance where, and I've had a couple of these clients where it's costing my clients hundreds of thousands of lost revenue that were funneled out of the practice and lost, and they proceed with criminal proceedings. It's a huge process. Eventually they win. These people will go to jail. And then they'll be put out on some kind of payment plan or what kind of thing, and then there's no guarantee they're going to stick with the payment plan, and then we're back and forth. Just a lot of wasted time and energy. So it's better for you if you basically are up on what's going on with your practice, especially when it comes to the finances. It's one of those areas that we don't like to look at. We like to look at it when it's going good. We don't like to look at it when it's going bad, and we kind of just bury our head in this and cross our fingers and hope and pray it's going to be okay when the accountant gives us the news. But really, you need to have a day-to-day understanding of what's going on with your stuff, everything financially, and a series of checks and balances there. And having a good manager, who you can trust, who's got your back, who's looking out for these things. Because as I said, there are many ways that money can disappear out of your practice. And it's not always just like, well, I'm signing checks over to me from the insurance company. I've seen that happen in my time too. I want to go to the videotape at a bank, and there's the staff member walking in with checks from the office, cashing checks or whatever. I've seen, very creative criminals like, hey, I set up a parallel ADP account so I can funnel payroll into my account, so we have extra payroll going my way. We've seen things with all kinds of different bank account stuff going on. I mean, I've seen it all in my time. I'm not saying this is rampant and it happens constantly. But it only takes one time, and we don't want that time to be you. And a lot of the time, more vigilance, being more aware of what's going on, could have avoided all this kind of stuff. So you really, like I said, the dangerous element of people being covert, you got to sniff this kind of stuff out and be on top of it. All right, because again, it's massively detrimental to your practice. And if you've been struggling for a long time and you seem to be very busy and a lot of money should be coming in, whether it's insurance or cash or whatever, and you're wondering, why can't I make ends meet? And there could be many factors, but one of the factors may be, hey, maybe there might be a criminal in the mix. Maybe I got to check this out and see what's going on here and do some, discovery, forensic accounting, whatever you got to do to check into the situation, which I really recommend you do, especially now as we've had some time away from the practice, and maybe many of you have started to do this. You have some time to work on the practice and look into things and revamp some things. And a lot of these practices are going through turnover and change, and they're realizing that the people are not coming back that have made off with their money or whatever in some form or another. It's been a blessing in disguise, because now they have a chance to start fresh and get new people in there and get other people in the practice because again, it's a lot of doctors that I work with. It's a kind of, they're just too nice. We don't want to let go of staff, even though it's probably the best thing for the practice, and we've known it for a long time. So this is another area where criminal activity can take place. It doesn't have to physically be directly stealing and doing illegal activity. A lot of times the criminal element are just people, but the way these people are, they're just a black hole of money in the practice. What it means is, because of the way these individuals are, who they are as people, are driving people away from your practice. The negative, nasty, miserable people that are rooted in your practice, that we're kind of beholden to for one reason or another, because we need them, all right? And they're allowed to sit there and fester and pollute the whole pool for everybody, and they affect everybody around them. And many of you that are watching this as staff members know it only takes one bad apple, to rot the whole bunch, and mess everybody up. And as we want to have the best possible team environment. And a lot of times, if you're having turmoil in the practice, upset and discord in the practice, and gossip is going on, and you're paying these people that are there in the mix doing that to sabotage your practice. You're actually paying them to ruin you, which is even crazier when you look at it that way. But that's what you're doing. They're on your payroll. They're there, and because of their the way they treat patients. And the way they are with people on the phone, and the way they interact with other staff members, and the way they treat them, and how negative they are, and how they make you feel, and they bring you down every day, and you got to work in that misery every single day. Doesn't create a good environment for your head space, feeling good about coming to practice every day. Think about that. If you're driving in every day and you're feeling like, oh my God, I got to go to this practice today, and you're not excited about the people you're going to be working with. Well, who is it? Is it all the people, or is it one particular person? Who's the person you don't want to communicate with? Who's the person you don't want to deal with? Who's the person that you've been making excuses for, dancing around, and making justifications for, to allow this person to stay in the practice? Right? This is probably the criminal element, right? Like I said, not necessarily. It's a lot more frequently not the people that are robbing you covertly with the way they're physically, like I said, taking your money. It's their presence in the practice. It's just such a negative drain in the practice. It's causing money. In many ways, because of the deficiencies on their job and who they are as people, to have money just disappear or not be made in the first place. It's incredible, in discovery how we find, massive stacks of unscheduled treatment plans. I say, well, what was this treatment coordinator supposed to be doing? And meanwhile, there's 30, 40 pages thick of plans that are in limbo right now because the person didn't follow up, didn't close them. Insurance claims allowed to pile up, not be processed, and not be done, no follow up, nothing. Letting that stuff go. That's your money that you may never get now because it was let to go. Right? That's basically criminal. When you're not having somebody who's supposed to be getting you money and you're not getting paid now, and that may be lost revenue you're never going to see again. These people go on to someplace else. And I know you wouldn't necessarily define it like that, but I would. Okay, so anybody that's there, that's driving away your patients and destroying your goodwill and driving out good team members, and not collecting money the way they're supposed to, and the way that, as per policy, letting people go, things like that, right? This is almost criminal behavior, okay? Because it's really sabotaging your business, and your practice. And right now, especially, as we're trying to get back on our feet and get going again with the practice and rev things up, that's the last thing you need in your practice is someone there who's not on board. And we're finding out right now, right, how a lot of people you thought were on board with us are not really on board with us. They're there for their own self-interest. They don't really care about you, the team, or the practice. That's all they care about. And granted, look, and I'm sure most of you watching this are truly concerned about the health of your patients. Are truly concerned about the health of your staff. You are. And so if they're making up that reason why not to come back to the practice, maybe that's their excuse to escape and get away from you because they feel bad about all the things they've been doing to you. It's not you. If you're doing everything and going above and beyond for these staff members, all right, they're doing you a favor, all right. And like I said, there's a thing, and I've talked about this before. There's a thing in practice called addition by subtraction, right? Sometimes you add to the practice by removing things from it, right? And one of the best things you can do for yourself is do some investigation, look around, do some discovery, run some reports, do some accounting, do some bookkeeping, ask around, and weed out the criminal element in your practice. You'll thank me for this video, very much so, in years to come, because again, these people in this situation is a tremendous strain on you, and I guess sometimes you're not even aware of where it's coming from, but here's a big area you may want to start looking at. All right, so again, thanks again for watching these videos. If you're enjoying the videos, please share them, and I'll be back soon with another episode.